you started servicing tanks, fixing tanks that were coming back. Were the tanks catching a lot of flack then, or?
The tanks did pretty well. Some of them were damaged. One of them ran over a landmine, an aerial bomb that was used as a landmine, and it blew it all to hell. Blew the top off.
Was that an American bomb?
It's possible. I never thought of that. Could be.
They got blown up.
I had a foxhole right near that sulfur blowhole, and laying in there at night, you could hear the Japanese scurrying around underneath.
Really? Wow.
They had tunnels everywhere around it.
Wow. I heard once that you got shot in the ass.
A friend of mine and I picked up a Japanese hand grenade, and we were dismantling it. He took it out, and he had the hand grenade was shaped roughly like this, smaller, but the top screwed off. And when you took the top off, you had the fuse that would set the thing off. Fuse is like a little bronze tube, and he was going to clip that off and put the cap back on, and just have a hand grenade with no fuse and no explosive in it.
For a keepsake?
Yeah. But he took a pair of side cutters, and he was going to clip that off. And he clipped it halfway off, then it exploded. And this thing sounded like a cannon. He was standing right here, and a bunch of the little slivers went in my back pocket. I had a letter in there, and they went through there, and I got a bunch of tiny slivers in my elbow. And then he got some in his face and around his eyes. And we went to sick bay to have him attended to. They put us up for Purple Heart, wounded in action. He refused, I refused him, I'm sure he did too. That was just stupid move, you know.
So you came across this grenade?
Yeah.
Just found it?
Just laying on the ground.
And you knew enough about it to go pick it up?
Because other guys had done it before and we'd seen it.
Wow. No booby traps?
I saw some booby traps, a booby trap. We went to, Colonel sent a bunch of us to retrieve a small Japanese cannon he wanted for a souvenir. And they had booby traps right there.
Holy shit. A lot of souvenir hunting going on. Did you see it go off?
It did, the booby trap?
Yeah.
I saw it and realized what it was, fortunately.
Wow. So how long were you on Iwo Jima?
Gosh. Maybe actually a shorter, maybe 26 days. I forget what day we left. April, March. We were there for 10 days, and it probably was about March the 1st when I went ashore, and about March the 30th when I got off the island. Because we were, I was ashore there for about 30 days.
And then you left. And when you left, they were still trying to take it.
Well, they had pretty much wiped it out. I imagine there was a few strays around.
So is that the heaviest fighting that you saw on Iwo Jima? Or was it still to come?
I went up, I volunteered to go up farther with a reconnaissance guy that was coordinated firing and everything. I was up there with him for about 10 days, I guess.
On Iwo Jima?
Yeah.
A reconnaissance mission? Huh. But you volunteered for that?
Yeah.
Just wanted to get closer?
Yeah.
Wow. So those were some nights out close to action.
Yeah, we were right behind the front line.
What kind of reconnaissance? Pictures or just on the radio?
Radio.
And then I guess things started to settle down a bit, and you shipped off again.
When we got back to the original area we occupied, and I'm sitting on they had an outhouse built there, seated about 6 people at a time, and I'm sitting up there, and the bullets start whizzing on over my head. It was an open thing. 300 Japanese had broken out from underground, a quarter-mile away, maybe a half mile. They're shooting the shit out of a battalion that had already turned in all their equipment, all their guns and everything. 300 Japanese came out and started raising hell.
Wow. So what'd you do?
I wet my ass and got the hell out of there.
And what'd you head?
Huh?
And you just head for shelter again?
I don't know what the hell I did. I didn't get too excited about it.
But you could
I
hear
knew
the
something
bullets.
was going on pretty damn close by, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Another time I'm just standing there, I don't know what the hell we were doing, but all of a sudden, you know what a rocket sled is?
Not specifically.
They tow drag a thing along the ground. It's got about 100 rockets on it. They all started going off at once, about 100 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets your attention.
This is something the Marines were firing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that would be a little worrisome. Okay, so where'd you head after that?
We went back to, went all the way back to Hawaii. I think we stopped. Yeah, we stopped in the Marshall Islands. I think it was in the Marshall Islands the day we heard Roosevelt had died, which was on about the 13th of April. I know we had stopped and I think it was in Marshall Islands. Marshall Islands is like a pancake in the middle of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to it.
And then where?
And back wound up in Hawaii.
You see any more action after Iwo Jima?
No, we went back to Hawaii and started training to invade Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And we landed in Japan at the same spot we would have invaded.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been 100 times worse than Iwo Jima because it's a much, much greater area and more people, and you're right in their backyard, you know.
Yep.
It's a natural fortress.
Wow.
MacArthur did a beautiful job with that. Japanese people believed that the emperor was a sort of a god. The whole nation was sold on that. So instead of condemning him as a war criminal and bring him to trial and everything, he let him keep his job as long as he did what MacArthur wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out fine.
So where were you when you heard that the first bomb had gone off? Which one was first? Hiroshima?
Hiroshima was first, yeah.
Hiroshima.
I was in Camp Tarawa, same place we started out at. They called us all out and announced that had happened. And a friend of mine named Mark J. Murray, who was an old man of 29 at that time, he got drunk as a goddamn skunk. I guess he was drunk when they called us out. We probably already had the news and they told us about what happened.
So what in the world were you thinking when you heard that?
All right. At that time, I wouldn't give a shit if they'd killed every goddamn person in Japan.
Mm-hmm. And you were on the eve of the most dangerous possible scenario, and out of the blue, really. I mean, because you didn't even know such a thing existed, and really completely out of left field, you hear this news that they've come up with this device that just blew up an entire city. And we got plenty more of them drop out.
And Harry hadn't made that decision, there'd been a hell of a lot more people killed. Millions, maybe.
So then you were still, I guess you were still gearing up towards the invasion.
Yeah. We went ashore combat loaded,
Really?
ready to go. There was no resistance. It worked out fine, because it would have been its own bitch.
So then you got the announcement of the second one,
Yeah.
and then you went ashore.
We went to shore on September 22nd, my outfit, which was, 6 weeks later,
6 weeks after the second one.
approximately.
So they had not surrendered yet.
No, the second one was only a day or two after the first,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1 day. Certainly not more than 2. Second one, they threw in the towel. They figured they're serious, and they can blow a city away with one shot. Convinced the diehards.
Wow. So you went to shore fully combat loaded and no resistance. And this is the first time that you've seen Japanese civilians.
Yeah. Outside of those couple of prisoners.
And this was in Tokyo.
No.
No.
Sasebo.
Sasebo. But that's where you said that's where you would have invaded.
Yeah.
Because essentially they just followed through with the plan. Is that what happened?
Yeah. In case something's wrong, we're there and we're prepared,
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to take their word for it that it's over.
Yeah.
We get in there and see that they're disarmed.
So what was that like when you landed there?
It was scary.
Initially some tension, and then at some point you kind of realize that it really is over.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the first time you really felt like the war was over? Personally?
I don't know. I guess so. It was strange seeing them